So first up, we have this little side coffee table contraption, and originally it started off as a footstool, which if you go to an op shop with a large homewares section, you will probably come across. Unfortunately, the cushion was so disgusting even after washing that it had to go in the bin. As you can see, the actual base was in pretty good condition, a few white paint splatters, so I decided to roll with it and just spray paint the entire thing. And instead of actually finding another cushion that I could pop on top, I decided to turn it into a table. So these cane trays, again, you'll find heaps of at the op shop, and they're only about like 50 cents to $1. And then obviously you can just pop on it whatever you please. I was using mine outside, so I just had a few drinks. Next up are just some old books that I am using for decoration, and for this I went to a book sale. You probably have one in your area too. It is just this massive shed where they sell all old library books, so they're really cheap, and I picked up an atlas as well as a few novels that I wanted to cover. So for this, all I need to do is just rip out a page of the atlas and then lay it out so I can see how much I need to cover. I just marked it with a pencil, but don't cut on that pencil mark. Leave a centimeter or two space so that way you can fold over the page and glue it down to your book. If you guys have ever covered like school books, then you're probably pretty familiar with the process. Just so you don't get anything too bulky when you go to glue it down, make sure you're trimming those little corner pieces. Trust me, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. As for actually gluing it down, PVA glue should do the job. Just make sure you're holding it in place for a minute before you move on. So now you've completed the front cover, all you're going to do is flip it over and repeat the exact same process on the back cover. And if you want an extra little step, I decided to color in the edges. I just thought that this gave it an extra kind of vintage feel. I think that these look so nice displayed, especially if you have that vintage vibe in your home. So next up is probably my favorite of the bunch, and it is just these little pot plants. So there'll always be a really big silverware section at the op shops, and all I was looking for were these little pewter tankards or mugs, whatever you want to call them. And I got these all from different op shops, so I think that's important to remember. They don't have to be a matching set. I think they look better if they're all a little bit different. And then obviously just chuck in some cute little succulents. You might get clippings from your own backyard. You can find them at the markets or go to somewhere like Bunnings. And I think these are such a great decorative piece. I have mine in my hallway and I love them. So you may have noticed the cute little mats that the pot plants were sitting on. These were just a DIY from the thrift store as well. All I did was find some really old table mats and just repurpose them. You can cover these with whatever you please. Today I'm just using this Hessian sheet, which is actually completely self-adhesive. So this is the simplest thing ever. Just trace around the mat, cut it out and whack it on. It is that easy. You could do all 6 and use them as your new table mats for dinner and everything like that. Or you could just do 1 or 2 and use them as decorative mats. So this next one isn't actually a DIY, but is just a suggestion to definitely look out for vintage retro suitcases. I think they make such a statement item in anyone's home. You could collect quite a few and just have them as is, or you could go like I did and just pop a few bits and bobs on top. You could style it a ton of different ways to fit in with your own room, and the options are endless. I think that overall it is a very effective look. Lastly is something you've probably seen before, but I wanted to put my own spin on it, and it is a DIY pinboard. There is clearly an abundance of old frames at the thrift store, so just choose one out. They'll be super cheap. This one was only $3. and if it needs to, just give it a nice coat of spray paint. I went for white once again, and all you need to do is remove all of the inside, so the glass, the picture, everything like that, and simply trace around that picture so we have the right size for our cork, which we obviously need to make a pinboard. Once we have the right size, just slip it back in there and make sure that you're securing it. Most picture frames should have those little backings, just push them back down, and then you can decorate it however you please. I decided to go for this little decorative twine just in case I wanted to hang anything off it. You know, you can use like little clips instead of just the push pins, and yeah, go wild, just do whatever you want. I chose some pictures that I like of Tumblr, but just choose whatever is going to go with the vibe of your room. You can even hang off some sunglasses. I have this cute little cactus and dream catcher, and I am stoked with how this one turned out. So that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments which idea was your favorite, as well as if you have any requests for future thrift videos. In the meantime, you can check out all my previous thrift hauls and make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any in the future. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.